One of these men is a highly respected New York attorney, Lucas A. Ferrara. The other is a self-proclaimed man of the people, known as Mert Roberts. Their aim is to discuss the hottest issues impacting our city, state, and nation. Fasten your seatbelts. Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas, live, starts now on AM 970, The Answer.
Okay, Alex, what is the name of this one?
This is Back to School by Nourished by Music.
Nourished by Music. I love it, Alex, because I wanted to spend some time talking about homeschooling. Now, homeschooling isn't just a niche thing anymore. It's become a big deal, changing how millions of kids in America learn. And what started out mostly with religious or rural families has expanded to include people from all kinds of backgrounds: city folk, suburban families, liberals, conservatives, the rich, the working class, and more families of color too. As of fall of 2024, Mert, an estimated 4.2 million kids were homeschooled in the U.S. That accounts for 7.6, almost 8% of the total K through 12 population. 4.2 million. That's a lot of kids that aren't in the system, and that's a staggering increase from 1.7 million back in 2016. It's jumped up. Of course, COVID had a role to play there, but even after schools reopened after COVID, many families chose to stick with homeschooling because they like the flexibility, the safety, and they're dissatisfied with public education. Would you homeschool your kids, Mert?
Absolutely not, because you're what you're doing when you homeschool kids is you're removing them from the real world. This is a good question you asked, because I think about stuff like this all the time. What are these homeschool kids like when they finally get around other kids? Because it's just like the kid who's a nerd, and all of a sudden they get to hang out with the cool kids, and they start doing things that they wouldn't normally do, and they might go extreme or overboard just to fit in with the rest. So, and I know you didn't have this problem because you were the cool kid in school, but so I know you didn't have that problem, Lucas. But I know a lot of kids out there, they want to fit in. And if you don't have a problem fitting in because you're sitting in front of your parents all day and they're telling you you're the best in the world, and then you get around some savages, some little monsters, some little, Tasmanian devils, these kids we have running around in in these public schools, and you're just a sheep, and they just can smell it, because kids are the one thing they're good at spotting a weak link. And if you don't have the confidence to emerge and stand out and stand up for yourself with kids who are going to have social structures in place, they're going to have groups of friends. If you don't have that, then you're going to be at a deficit. And I'm just curious, what are the solutions to that aspect of it? Because you might be bright, you might be smart, but I know this: all of that genius, all of that intelligence, all of that, man, you're such a star student, can be undone by social pressures and all that comes with that. So I would never want to homeschool a kid, because I'm just considering, man, am I stripping them of learning how to survive and fight and thrive on their own by being exposed to me all day? Because I'm going to champion my kid, I'm going to promote my kid, and I think they need to be in an environment where they have to fight for that. They have to fight to stand out. They have to fight to be the best in the class. They have to fight for any attention they get. And being at home, I don't see how you can do that.
Well, I think it's a generational thing, Mert, because 30, 40 years ago, yes, I think kids were nerdy. They came off, they didn't have the social skills that they needed to interact with other kids of their age. But that shifted now, and we'll be talking about that in a few minutes. But let's take a look at some of the data. The National Center for Education Statistics and some surveys reveal a striking shift in homeschool landscape. What race makes up the largest share of homeschoolers? You want to guess, Mert?
It's probably white people.
That's right. Largest group. They make up 68% of homeschoolers. Number two, Mert, Hispanic families account for about 15%, and there's steady growth.
I don't want to make a joke of that, but I'm pretty sure that's because you might have some people off the books have no other option but to homeschool. So I don't want to make a joke. You might be illegal, so you might not have a choice but to homeschool.
Black families come in third, by the way, 11%, doubling from 6% back in 2016. So black families are homeschooling, Mert. And Asian American families now make up 4%. So it seems that this is going, across different races. And yes, white families still lead, but the gap is narrowing. Now,
but before you move on, sorry to cut you off. I'm going to make a statement here where I have a good feeling that all of these individuals are most likely anti-vax type people, anti-government. These are the type of people who normally, want to homeschool and take control of their kids' life. People who severely mistrust the government.
You got a lot of military families that homeschool, Mert, and that's because the deployment and the parents have to move frequently, so they homeschool. There's a big emphasis on homeschooling with the military, but I think that a lot of parents are resisting a lot of democratic political correctness. I think that DEI and gender identity is fostering a lot of this divergence away from the system, Mert. There's a law in Jersey where they want to restrict homeschooling. It's part of a debate here. Let me see if I could find the law for you, Mert. It's called AB 5825, which would make New Jersey one of the most regulated states. And what they want to do is they want the families to teach about gender identity so that they promote, understanding. They want gender fluidity, non-binary identities. DEI education is part of the curriculum. You see what the Democrats are trying to do? It's part of agenda control, and I think that that's where families are starting to resist that, particularly families of faith.
I disagree.
Well, I'm just telling you.
I disagree with that. I'm not disagreeing with you, Mr. Ferrara. I'm disagreeing with that assessment that, that is something bad that New Jersey is doing. I don't agree with that. I think what New Jersey is doing is excellent. I think it's a very good thing they're doing because keeping individuals in school is the best form of conditioning your citizens to follow a set of the way we do things in the United States. Is very easy to teach that if everybody is going to the same type of education where it's strictly enforced. This is how first grade, second grade, third grade is going to go. If we have everybody doing their own thing, it's going to put us behind because it's going to create an atmosphere where we're going to have fractures in the population in terms of who's educated and who's not. You're going to have parents who aren't very smart, who think they're smart, trying to educate their kids, and they're going to put their kids behind the eight ball even more. So I think what New Jersey is doing is what government should always do. Do what's in the best interest of your people. Don't focus on the crybabies out there who are going to say, this is taking away my freedom. No, your freedom is going to encroach and impact what everybody else has going on. And sometimes people who have crazy ideas, they can be very persuasive. They can be very charismatic. They can almost seem like they know what they're talking about, like they have the right way to do things. But if you dive a little bit deeper, you'll realize keeping your kids at home away from other kids, that turns us into something I don't want to see. It's very frightening.
Well, let's look at this, Bert. Supporters point to strong academic performance among homeschoolers. A 2025 study out this year by the National Home Education Research Institute found that homeschool kids scored 15 to 30 percentile points higher than their public school peers. They score higher on standardized tests, Mert. They also have higher college enrollment rates and were more likely to pursue STEM majors. And by STEM, I mean science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And by the way, you mentioned this earlier, socialization, which was once the Achilles heel of homeschooling, has been redefined because now kids can participate in co-ops, sports leagues, debate clubs, and faith-based youth groups. So they are exposed to other kids. Now, Dr. Karen Holbrook, who's an education researcher, said the myth of the isolated homeschooler is outdated. So she's calling him outdated, Bert. These kids are often more socially agile than their traditionally schooled counterparts. They're doing better socially, Mert, than those that take part of your system. The system is control, mind control, not always good, Mert. And I don't know if you remember, but I remember being in class, this is going very slow. And you had to just sit there while other students were catching up. It doesn't account for individualized needs, individual education. This group think is not one size fit all, Mert. It doesn't work.
That's your problem. That's your problem. You're waiting for the next math problem. You should have been looking for a girl's phone number or something like that. That's what you do when the class is a little too slow. You see, class is not always about learning. See, they always try to throw these stats out.
Oh my goodness.
They always try to throw these stats out like, man, 15 and 30%. Well, if your mom's sitting there giving you all the answers, you should probably be 100 or 200% better than a regular student who has to rely on one teacher and has to compete with all these students in the classroom. You're only telling me it's only 15 to 30% better? That lets me know it's not that effective. But what I'm trying to bring up is when these kids are sitting in that classroom and there's only one adult, there is something forming there that you don't get in a little after school debate or just going to after school football practice. When you're sitting in that community of people your own age and you're doing it from 1 to 12th grade, 1st to 12th grade, you get a level of socialization that you don't get sitting at home. Yeah, well, you might have a couple
Dr. Karen Holbrook doesn't agree with you, Merch. She's saying
I don't agree with her. I don't agree with her.
Hey, Alex,
I don't agree with her.
What do you think?
Well, I want to go back to the word conditioning, which is kind of a scary word because I think kids should learn how they're supposed to learn. Because conditioning has turned into indoctrination, Mert. That's the problem we're dealing with.
That's groupthink. You have to think a certain way. Right.
And they're not but they're not conditioning them in a way that seems to be pro-America or pro-American ideals.
That's the thing, too. That's right. DEI and gender inclusivity, that they're like, how many different genders are there? Have you ever done the research, Mert?
I don't know where you're getting your information from. I don't know where you guys.
Gender identities.
I don't know where you guys are getting your information from.
Kids to 80 different gender identities. Come on.
Are you going to let me respond? I think because what I'm trying to say is I don't know where you guys are getting your information from. I probably wouldn't trust those sources if you exposed them to me. So I'm not going to go with you guys' information. I'm going to go with my information and what I've seen and being somebody who attended somebody who's attended public schools in multiple states. I think I have a better grasp of it than these little statistics you want to talk about. I didn't see any DEI. I didn't see any conditioning where people were like, hey, if you're black, you're better. If you're white, you're bad. That was never the case, and that's what these people try to make you think.
White privilege and all this other kind of stuff.
When the last time you've been in elementary school? When the last time you've been in high school?
I'm happy.
If you ask any high school student, they're not going to tell you, man, they told me I was bad because I was white. This is all politics.
I have had kids mention stuff like that, though. I have not.
Well, I would look into them too. I'd want to get them examined for telling you such lies. That's a lie they tell you.
Alex, come on.
Ain't nobody.
Kids in the system that are being indoctrinated in this DEI.
We can go into the whole 1619 thing. It's a very complicated situation with that. But that's just an example. And then how about this? How come school boards are having parents arrested for speaking out about their concerns over this gendered identity in the women's locker room? I mean, there are parents being arrested for their behavior of questioning why their kid's in danger.
Yeah,
you two are good. You two are good. I tell you, you two are good at trying to be alarmist, and you're war hawks on one end, and then you're alarmist, and you're scaring the people on the other end, because there's always little isolated pockets of things going awry. But if you want to make those little pockets the norm, go ahead and do it. But for the majority of this country, the public school system,
they're rebelling
the public
because
school
they don't
system,
want their kids to be brainwashed with this 80 different gender identities. Come on, is that really what a kid has to do? You know what? Gender identity is apparently an evolving experience. You know that? Evolving.
Yeah,
and humans are evolving sexually. Really? Look, I respect,
and this is why I have no. Let me say this real quick.
Let's leave our kids out of this indoctrination nonsense.
Let me say this real quick. This is why I have no real interest in learning what you guys' sources are, because if you really believe that high school and elementary school is about what your gender identity is, then you're being dishonest, because that's not what it's about. But the political atmosphere we're in right now, we're going to take little isolated incidents and we're going to try to make that the norm. And I'm not going to allow you or your little sidekick, Alex, do it, because I'm on to what you're trying to do. And it's not going to go down as long as
Alex,
the voice of the people is here.
But he's insulting you and me. One shot. What do you think?
He also called us Warhawk, so I'm not surprised tonight. But I just think that... I agree with Mert on the. I agree with Mert on the fact we should have kids coming together to learn, but not in the conditioning state, not in the indoctrinating state, not in the state where parents are, as I said, being hauled out of board meetings for questioning.
Yeah, books that have what I consider to be obscene pornographic stuff, and kids are exposed to sex acts and with same-sex sex acts. Why? Why do the kindergartners, young kids, have to be exposed to books like that, Mert? Of course,
because if you don't expose the high schoolers to it,
that's up to
they're going to do it on their own, and then you're going to have a bunch of kids who don't understand what they're doing, and now you got a bunch of teenage pregnancies because we had people out there who were too afraid to expose children to what's really going on in the world, and you got to do it at some point.
Oh my goodness! Look. In the end, the homeschool debate isn't just about curriculum or compliance. It's about trust, Mert. Trust in parents, in our institution, and trust in the idea that education at its best is a shared responsibility. The question isn't who teaches, but how we ensure every kid learns. And education, by the way, I disagree with you, Mert. It isn't a factory line. It's a mosaic of needs, contexts, and capacities. One size fits all may offer simplicity, but fairness demands flexibility. And if you want flexible, this is Lucas Ferrara, and with me in the studio at AM 970, located right in the heart of the financial district, is my co-host, the Mertinator, Mert Roberts. Working the board is Alex Garrett. He's got a 5-star rated podcast. Check it out, One Leg Up with Alex Garrett. When we come back, we'll be joined by Dr. Monica Formani. She's a Canadian clinical psychologist, author, and founder of Smart Living Corporate Wellness. She's out with a book. It's called, what is it called? I don't have the title. I forgot. Oh, we'll get the title afterwards. Don't go away. Me, Mert, Alex, A Deeper Wellness. That's it. Me, Mert, Alex, Gallet, Dr. Romani, all of us at AM 970 will be back after these quick messages. So breathe deep. Dr. Romani has the answers you're looking for.
The Love Boat isn't just a TV show, it's real, and love is waiting for you aboard the Atlantis, New York Cruises' luxurious private yacht and one of the most unforgettable venues in the city. Whether you're planning a wedding, corporate gathering, anniversary, or milestone celebration, the Atlantis offers a truly unique setting with sweeping 360-degree views of the Manhattan skyline, plush interiors, and exquisite onboard cuisine. Your guests will dine, dance, and toast under the stars as the skyline glows around you. And from the first call to the final farewell, New York Cruises' experienced hospitality team will guide you through every detail. Weddings, reunions, retirements, bar and bat mitzvahs. If it's worth celebrating, it's even better on the water. Call 212-633-1231 to start planning your event today, or visit NewYorkCruises.com.
MyPillow is excited to announce they're having their biggest 3-in-1 sale ever with a limited edition product, a back-in-stock special, and an overstock deal you won't find anywhere else. My Slippers only $39.98. Any color, any style. Regular $149.98. Now only $39.98. That's $110 savings. Once they're gone for good. My Towels are finally back in stock, but not for long. Get a 6-piece My Towel set. Regular $69.98. Now only $39.98. And for the first time and only time ever, get their limited edition premium My Pillows made with Giza cotton and a designer gusset. Queens $17.98, Kings only $19.98. Also, for a limited time, when your order is over $100, you will receive free shipping plus $100 in free digital gifts. So go to mypillow.com or call 800-651-0798 and use the promo code Joe P. Use your promo code for the best offers ever. Quantities are extremely limited, so order now. Over the last 30 years, Newman Ferrara, a New York City law firm, has evolved into a national practice focused on real estate, commercial, litigation, civil rights, class actions, and other complex litigation, representing many of the city's largest property owners, managing agents, and thousands of tenants. Newman Ferrara handles some of the nation's most significant class actions and civil rights matters. Newman Ferrara at 1250 Broadway in New York City. Go online to NewmanFerrara.com. That's NewmanFerrara.com. Listen to the firm's name partner, Lucas Ferrara, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Dottie Herman's longest-running real estate radio program, Eye on Real Estate on AM 970. A real estate lawyer for 35 years, Lucas is a professor at New York Law School and is also a published author with books on real estate and New York's landlord-tenant law. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to hear Lucas's unique perspective and advice on Eye on Real Estate.
Welcome back to Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas, live on AM 970, The Answer.
I like that, Alex. What's that called?
All right, this is called Race to Arms by Grand Project.
So why did you stop it? It was so great. It was going so well.
It's a dramatic effect to start the segment.
Oh, boy, life often feels like a battle, doesn't it? A conflict like we're at war with ourselves and others. Well, my friends, now that you've endured the commercials, it's time for your reward. Dr. Monica Vermani, who might just help you unknot that emotional pretzel you've been living in with a clinical lens on trauma, stress, and mood disorders. She's known for guiding people through both internal battles and external pressures, helping them confront what's buried deep and what's bearing them down. She's one of Canada's leading clinical psychologists. Based in Toronto, she has over 25 years of experience in private private practice and is the founder of Start Living Corporate Wellness, a program designed to promote mental health and resilience in the workplace. She's the author of a critically acclaimed book. It's called A Deeper Wellness, Conquering Stress, Mood, Anxiety, and Traumas, which offers a comprehensive roadmap for healing past wounds, and managing present challenges, and building a more fulfilling future. It's always a pleasure to have her. Welcome back to the program, Doctor.
Thank you, Lucas and Mert. It's wonderful having you both here and enjoying this evening together.
Well, listen, Doc, we have so many questions, so little time. Before we dive deep into many of those, I wanted to get your reaction to a fight that we were having before you joined us, something we were talking about earlier in the show. It's homeschooling. Now, in your opinion, this is an opinion question, Doc, does homeschooling pose risks of social or emotional adjustment challenges like anxiety or interpersonal skills? And might traditional schooling offer a more beneficial environment? Mert seems to think the latter, traditional schooling, because otherwise they turn into weirdos. But I think that that's no longer the case. Where's the disconnect, Doc?
So deep down inside, like, homeschooling has its place for some people that really do need it. But we have to remember that, again, human beings are social animals. Our ancestors depended on safety, security. Like, we're meant to be in groups. You're born alone, you die alone. It's an individual journey amongst a collective. We do need to learn how to be with people. We thrive and flourish in group settings. We learn from one another. We learn how to be a better version of us from others.
Oh, no, you're agreeing with Mert, Doc. I don't believe you're agreeing with Mert. Go ahead, Mert.
This is a doctor I trust here. This is a doctor I trust.
Oh, please. Did you have a question, Mert?
Well, this is, you know what? I'm not surprised that the doctor responded that way. But could you go into that a little bit more? Because I can understand why people have a mistrust of the government, and they think if they take education into their own hands that they'll be doing their children a service. But isn't there something to be said for if everybody's under the same type of education program nationwide, you have a nation that rises. In theory, it's supposed to rise together because everybody gets the same type of education throughout the nation. It's certain standards that are in place. And if we operate under that type of system, it's more beneficial to have a better base or a better floor than to have a few standouts here and there. Would you agree with that?
So let's be honest with one another. Education doesn't just happen at school. Education's happening at home with your parents, role modeling, with grandparents, with siblings, with trial and error that life brings. The standardized system allows us to come together and learn together and learn how to share and learn how to bond. Yep. Because think about what education's about. It's about giving you the tools to survive in the world so that you can function and earn a living on your own one day. But when you're earning a living one day, most of us are not working in isolation. We're working amongst people. Now, don't get me wrong, with allergies and with, some people with weak immune systems and medical and health conditions, with mental health conditions, I've seen a lot of even my own patients have to homeschool their children, and there's nothing wrong with that. But homeschooling does come with isolating our children and sometimes making them weaker in other areas, such as being more isolated, having more anxiety around people, being fragmented with, feeling out of place when they are out there working amongst teams or people, or being able to manage people. Some of our managers get promoted higher and higher, but they don't have the people skills. And so deep down inside, there's a place for community learning as well as in home learning. We should be not just learning in school. We should be learning at home too, right?
Well, Doc, Absolutely. Isn't the bigger issue fitting in? Is that what we're trying to get our finger on? How do we fit in society, in the systems Bingo. That exist, and that homeschooling may not be the ideal way? Talk a little bit about I'm an old guy, Doc. I'm still struggling to fit in. Is that the challenge we all face, and sometimes we never resolve it? If you know what I mean.
Well, it's interesting how you say that. I don't think we're born not fitting in. I think we learn it. And so deep down inside, initially, as children, you are born.
Oh, thanks, Mert.
Say that again?
Mert. No, Mert's being disrespectful. He's insulting.
That's okay, but deep down inside, if you look at children, they're unconditionally loving. They speak the truth. There's this self-esteem in them of looking in the mirror and never seeing flaws in them. And, we crave social contact, belonging. We are hardwired to fit in. And in other words, another way to call that is conform. We want, a sense of belonging in the world. And so we start off like that. But then sometimes role modeling, through turmoil, through problems, we personalize the suffering that we go through as human beings in a human body. You're born with duality, birth and death, which is happiness and sorrow, success and failure. Duality sometimes makes us personalize things, and we feel different from others. It is learned behavior,
Doc,
anger.
Doc, what kind of tips would you give Lucas to help him fit in? Because he's a very smart guy. So, he's flying at a million miles
learning how to fit in is a skill, too, right? Like you two have fit in somehow together. It's a skill. It is also about a give and take, and it's about us learning to sometimes be creative with our own sense of self to find what is my emotional IQ versus our intellectual IQ. IQ is defined by the measurement of the outer world, how it works, and that sometimes school is teaching us how to reason with the world and solve outer world problems. But inner world is EQ, and that's where we sometimes form bonds, learn how to understand people, and navigate the world and people.
I think Lucas might be, he might have the problem where he's so smart that, trying to fit in with us average intelligence people might be difficult. So how do you take off that intelligence?
Don't fall for this.
He's such a smart guy. How do you bring yourself?
Can I be honest? Even people who meditate have a tendency to be in the world but not of the world. So Lucas is in the world but not of the world. Enjoy it. Sometimes we have to all take our quirkiness and learn how to love our authenticity, learn our brokenness, learn to love the aspects of us that make us edgy. And Mert, you got your own edge. Lucas has got his own. I got my own. And sometimes our emotional EQ comes from loving ourselves the way we are and being authentic and rocking it. And we're all doing it in our own way.
You hit on it. You hit it right on the head. Maybe I don't want to fit in, and that's what I thrive on.
Maybe you weren't meant to fit in, Lucas, and same with you, Mert. We just sometimes need to accept our path, and some of our path is not to conform and fit in, but to be the change we want to see in the world. Amen.
Amen.
Right? Be the change you want to see in the world, and sometimes by being the edgy and being the person who stands out, you also allow people to ripple effect to also stand out and own the changes in them or the intellect in them. There's a lot of people who don't feel like they fit in, but they fit in by not fitting in too. Like my quirky little volleyball team and people I play with. When it comes down to it, we all kind of don't fit in and fit in at the same time. You'll find your tribe. I think the key is, Lucas, you guys found each other. You find your tribe. So, whether you bond on the same traits or not, I think it's about being authentic. It's about, it doesn't matter if you're homeschooled or at school in public or private schools. It's about you owning where you come from, who you are, and thriving it.
Amen. We have to take a quick break for some commercial messages, Doc, but have no fear. Dr. Vermani will rejoin us for more about the Dr. and her work, including her great book. Check out her websites. Dr. Monica, it's drmonicavermani.com. That's drmonicavermani.com. Also check out adeeperwellness.com. You can find her book on Amazon, wherever books are sold. Of course, we'll have links on our website, shakeitofflive.com. Mert, Alex, Dr. Vermani, and I certainly hope you'll come back right after this. We know you're wired, we know you're tired, but Dr. Vermani's here to help you rewire. So come back. Your nervous system and your psyche will thank you for it.
Over the last 30 years, Newman Ferrara, a New York City law firm, has evolved into a national practice focused on real estate, commercial, litigation, civil rights, class actions, and other complex litigation, representing many of the city's largest property owners, managing agents, and thousands of tenants. Newman Ferrara handles some of the nation's most significant class actions and civil rights matters. Newman Ferrara at 1250 Broadway in New York City. Go online to newmanferrara.com. That's newmanferrara.com. Listen to the firm's name partner, Lucas Ferrara, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Dottie Herman's longest-running real estate radio program, Eye on Real Estate on AM 970. A real estate lawyer for 35 years, Lucas is a professor at New York Law School and is also a published author with books on real estate and New York's landlord-tenant law. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to hear Lucas's unique perspective and advice on Eye on Real Estate.
You know, on Faith Over Fear, we talk a lot about healing spiritually, emotionally, and even physically. That's why I'm excited to share something that's helping so many people with pain, inflammation, and even brain health. It's called Sun Power LED. They've created a powerful light therapy device that's completely drug-free. It uses high-intensity LED light to reach deep into your tissues and joints. And it's showing real promise for things like concussions, PTSD, even Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. I love that it supports the healing process God built into our bodies. Visit sunpowerled.com and use promo code LIFE to get 10% off. That's sunpowerled.com, promo code LIFE. Sun Power LED, bringing light to your life.
Hey, New Yorkers, I'm Louis R. Avalone.
And I'm Stephen Parr of American Ground Radio.
You know, we aren't just watching the New York City mayor's race, we're sounding the alarm.
Because let's face it, what happens in New York doesn't stay in New York.
Well, the policies that are born here on crime, on immigration, on policing, they don't just define this great city.
They set the tone for the nation. We see it this way.
If New York embraces chaos, it becomes a playbook for Democrats everywhere.
But if New Yorkers demand order, accountability, and freedom, that too reverberates across the country.
And the stakes here are national, not just local.
The race for City Hall isn't just about subways and skyscrapers.
It's about whether America leans into common sense
or collapses under the weight of a failed ideology.
So New York, you're the test case.
And the rest of the nation is watching.
If you missed the AM 970 mayoral town hall discussion, listen to the podcast on am970theanswer.com and get out and vote. Welcome back to Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas, live on AM 970, The Answer.
We've been speaking with Dr. Monica Vermani, one of Canada's highest-rated clinical psychologists. She's known for as an author, public speaker, and mental health advocate. In her private practice, she treats adolescents and adults dealing with trauma, mood disorders, anxiety, substance addictions, and has worked with 9/11 first responders, military personnel, and EMS teams. Her latest book, A Deeper Wellness, offers readers guidance on how to achieve authentic wellness. For more about her and her work, including her book, check out her websites, please. drmonicavermani.com. That's Dr. Monica Vermani, VERMANI.com. And we'll make it easy for you. You can find her book at adeeperwellness.com. And the book is also on Amazon or wherever books are sold. We'll have links on our website, shakeitofflive.com. Doc, we're fighting over there. Who's going to ask you the next question? And Alex, our producer engineer, would like to ask the next one. Go ahead, Alex. It's your turn.
All right, so feeling fit in, I'll tell you my experience real quick is, even in the disabled community, I always felt like I wasn't always fitting in, but I want to bring the larger scope of that. How can we ensure people with disabilities that they are included, that they can fit in to the world around them. I feel like there is some exclusionary when it comes to people with disabilities. Would you agree, Doctor?
You know what? If you've listened to my TED Talk, think about it, thoughts are powerful things, good or bad, everything ever created started with a thought. And it's a thought that's making you feel separate, isolated, different from the world. When it comes down to it, if you even listen to that TED Talk alone, it shows you 3 patient examples of people with extreme disabilities, extreme suicidal tendencies, anger, places of disadvantage, and they found a way to fit in. Sometimes it's about us rejigging and reconceptualizing the thoughts that make us feel like we don't belong, we're not good enough, we're not smart enough, no, we're not capable, and we are different from others. It's your inner world creating your outer world. When your inner world feels great about yourself and who you are and you fit in, guess what? When you're out there, you find the validation out there to match that vibration. And when you're inside feeling not good enough, not smart enough, not capable, when you go out there, you find people to validate that. Your inner world is creating your focus on your outer world. So sometimes it's about us doing the deeper work to just fix it up and look at the thoughts we reinforce about ourselves and others.
So, Doc, I just want to ask this before Lucas gets to you. Are you saying is it up to the individual to reshape how they think and not the world to be more inclusionary with how we treat people with disabilities? Are you saying it's up to the individual with the disability to reshape how they think? Is that what you're saying?
It's and both. When it comes down to it, yes, there's a bit of both. It's like nature and nurture. We're never going to have one factor we can pinpoint our finger on and say that's the cure. We need to realize that it is a fluidity, a working with one another. But yes, the work has to start within you. You need to start working through your own inadequacies, your own insecurities, and the voice that makes you put others ahead of you. Other people's opinion of me is truly none of my business. My opinion of myself needs to be solid. But yeah, if everybody around me is pointing fingers at me to a certain degree, I do need to look at, is there some truth behind this? Do I need to look that I might be doing something that is contributing to so many people pointing at me in a certain way? Do I need to shift? But I also sometimes have to realize that some of those fingers pointing at me are just trying to realign me to make my solid opinion of myself solid. I wouldn't be a psychologist today if I listened to everybody who told me not to continue to school forever, that it was a waste of time and energy. I am doing what I do today because I listened to my opinion of myself and became the outlier instead of following what everybody around me was telling me to do. A lot of us have those stories. Sometimes it's not about other people's opinion of you. It's about your opinion about yourself being solid. And other times, it's about you looking at what people are saying and notice if there's a grain of truth in it, which might help you shift your behaviors to align with people, bridge the gap, bring them closer. Sometimes we're the ones who are pushing people away, and when somebody brings you awareness, you can treat it. The first step to treatment is awareness. Be aware. Is it my inner voice that needs to shift more, or my outer focus? Or is it I'm ignoring something that I need to really deal with and change for me to feel a sense of belonging in my world? You are worthy of love just the way you are, regardless of who you are, with or without disabilities, depending on your intellect, whatever. The key is what's making you reinforce over and over, I'm not enough.
Alex? Well, I will have to do some self-reflection on that because it's very interesting. Sometimes I feel like that off the air, I have to say. So
it's all self-reflection. You're born alone, you die alone. You literally are here to get to know yourself better and fine-tune that outer world to align with your inner world. And so deep down inside, people are showing you mirrors of yourself. Mirrors of what you like, mirrors of what you don't like, mirrors of what you have to work on, and mirrors of what you have to stop giving a crap about and be more in alignment to what following your truth. There's a lot of amazing people out there that followed their truth without anybody backing them up, and they did remarkable things. Nelson Mandela, Gandhi, so many amazing people were the change they wanted to see in the world without the validation and backup. It's not our job to just conform. It's our job to listen to our authentic truth and stand strong about it. Having a clear sense of right and wrong within you and getting into a place where you get to know yourself. Why am I conforming with people? Is it because it aligns with my values and perspectives, or is it because I'm trying to fit in? And what's my need to fit in? Am I seeking approval? Is it external validating internal, or is it me really aligning with who I believe I need to be? Think critically about yourself, your values, perspectives. Speak up when you're uncomfortable. Don't just share a group opinion because you feel that you're going to be, targeted if you're not. Learn to defend yourself and be the change you want to see in the world, including stand up for disabilities and stand up for yourself and stand up for bullying. Many of us sometimes our suffering makes us remarkable people. But the first step is realizing all human suffering has a purpose. And some of us are talking about right now how people suffer when they don't feel included or they feel that they're different from others. But that suffering sometimes is also your superpower in the future that makes you successful, remarkable, stand up for your rights, and make bigger changes for the world to benefit from.
I love that, Alex, as a superhero. Come on, Alex.
Yep.
You are.
Alex, you're a superhero. You just got to look at what's dulling your shine and what's taking away your power. Are you giving your power to others instead of owning it?
Energy conservation. I need to do more of that, I will say.
Yes, he is. He is, Doc. He is. But he has to find strength from within.
I like how you just said energy conservation. You know what? We spend a lot of time defending ourselves, explaining ourselves. Sometimes the best thing we need to do is just own our opinion and own ourselves and have a solid vibration by modeled behavior instead of explaining and defending ourselves all the time. We talk a lot in today's society, and sometimes the answers are in the silence. Go into your silence, seek connection with yourself, and you'll get that higher voice, that mystic voice inside you that tells you who you are, what you need to be, and how you're worthy of love just the way you are, regardless of who's validating it or not.
Oh, bless you, Doc. Amen, Alex.
Amen to that. I will replay this interview when I feel down in the dumps sometimes. So there you go.
All right. And you know what, Mert, you have to stop being a bully. People in the studio, being the studio audience.
You need to stop picking on Mert. Poor Mert's just living his authentic truth, and he's been put in your path to make you step up and learn to not give a crap about Mert's opinion of you. You just stand in Lucas, let Mert stay in Mert.
Oh, my goodness. She's
Leave me
standing
alone.
up for
I wouldn't
you,
even bothering you.
Own it.
I wouldn't even bothering you.
Live and let live, right?
It's the Dr. Fermani show. Forget about Lucas Fermani.
Authentic living comes from sometimes loving each other with our differences. That's it. And I think authentic living is what we're talking about. Whether you're homeschooled, you're in public or private schools, I think it's about what's in your highest and best. And for some people, it's about you just aligning with your opinion and not seeking the validation to put that check mark and say, I can do this because others validate it. Learn to live and let live. Learn to love each other's differences. Learn what fits you, bonus. And what doesn't fit, learn to just continue your journey without judgment. Life is a series of experiences. We're not here to judge. We're here to truly live our authentic path on our own. Just realize what is a hurt and harm factor that causes others pain and causes yourself pain, and minimize hurt and harm by learning to accept each other's differences. There's a reason why everybody's different. Sometimes it's to challenge your opinion. Sometimes it's to help you grow and learn. And sometimes it's to shift your perspective. Stop seeing it as people targeting you and see it as everybody's in alignment to show you sides of yourself to be a higher, better version of you. When I like something in another person, like Mert or Lucas, it's because I have that trait or I'm learning to acquire that trait. And when I don't like something in someone, it shows me either I have that trait, I'm strong-opinioned, or I'm working towards how to handle that trait better. Try to see everything with an inner compass, that everything is in alignment to help you shift to be a higher, better version of you. And then when you see it that way, there's a sense of belonging with each and everything out there, including the things that we struggle with. That's all shaping us to be more resilient, strong, capable, and to move forward with a sense of confidence in owning who you are instead of conforming with everybody around you.
And unfortunately, Doc, we've run out of time. An absolute pleasure having you on the program. Thanks for coming back on. For more about the doctor and her work, including her book, check out her website, drmonicavermani.com, drmonicavermani.com, or at deeperwellness.com. Find her book on Amazon. We'll have links on Shake It Off. Thank you, Doc. Always a pleasure. Well, my friends, that ends show number 68. May amen, amen. Amen. Special thanks to the Mertinator, Mert Roberts. 136 hours of live entertainment. If you think that's easy, you try it. Thanks to Alex Garrett. Thank you. Couldn't have done it without you. Much love to Gabby Pisani, wherever she is. Thank you to everybody behind the scenes. Check out my movies. Join us next week.
The preceding program is sponsored by Shake It Off Live, LLC.